Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's so good to see you all. Hi.
This is Sister Pat. Could you send me the link for the meeting? I can't find it.
Okay, I will send it to you.
Thank you.
I'm Give me 1 minute. Some of the people didn't get their link, so I'll send it to them right quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I hope they got it. So good to have you all with us. We're going to open the meeting at this time, and we're going to ask Lindsay, is she on? If she would do the roll call, please.
Mayor Keith.
Hey, did you guys like that fart, Vincey? You think you can mute me? You think you can mute me?
Hang on a second, guys.
I'm gonna poop on all of you. I'm gonna take.
Sounds
I'm gonna
like
fart on your little kids.
we're gonna go off and come right back. All right, start over, Lindsay.
Okay.
Commissioner.
Mayor Heath. Commissioner Bernard.
Present.
Commissioner Ramos.
Present.
Commissioner Patton is present. Commissioner Frank. Commissioner Frank.
Can't hear you.
Commissioner Frank.
She doesn't have audio, but she's present.
Okay. Commissioner Boone.
He's excused.
Sorry, Lindsay, if you called me, I was trying to get back on and I couldn't get unmuted and get my video going. Sorry, I'm here now.
Thank you. Commissioner Barron. Commissioner Carter. And okay.
Commissioner Harvett.
And Commissioner Harvett.
Present.
Okay, good. All right, so at this time, we have an excused absence for Commissioner Boone requested to be excused tonight. I haven't heard from Commissioner Barron or Commissioner Carter, so we will see if they come on later. All right, so we have a meeting today, a pre-meeting minutes from the April 27th. We will talk about that at the regular meeting and vote on that. But I just want to make sure everyone received their minutes from the April the 29th meeting. If you did not, let me know and I will send them to you again. All right. So we will vote on that at the regular meeting. Our old business discussion tonight is going to be with our chief. And we're going to have great information coming from him and his officers if we have them with us tonight. But we're going to hear from him. Mayor, would you like to say anything before he gets started?
Just thank you again, Chief Emmerich. You always go above and beyond. I say that to everyone I meet, and we are the luckiest city in America to have such a great police chief. I firmly believe that. So thank you.
Yes. All right, Commissioner Frank, would you like to say something and introduce our chief, please? Did we lose him?
She can't get her sound to
Okay,
work.
we can't get her. Well, we would like to introduce our chief of police, who is Chief Emery. He is one of a kind, and we definitely appreciate all that he does for the city of Adrian and community, because he reaches out not only to the city, but also to the county and other police chiefs, and also other police enforcement in the state. And Chief, we just want to reiterate what the mayor has said. You are one of a kind, and we appreciate you every time we think about the work that you do in our community. And at this time, we're going to turn it over to you and let us know exactly what you would like us to concentrate on. And then we're going to talk about having the town hall meeting. We've already scheduled it for June the 24th at 6 o'clock to 7:30. And we're asking you to let us know all the different things that you will be talking about and how you will bring it about. Okay? So we'll turn it over to you at this time.
Okay, thank you very much for that introduction. I try to be worthy of such high praise. My wife would agree with you that I'm one of a kind, but she's not saying that in a good way. I'm by myself tonight. I didn't bring any officers. I think I might have misunderstood. I thought we were going to have a conversation about our next town hall and what we want that to look like. So I'm definitely happy to have the date set aside on our calendar. I will definitely have some more personnel available at that time. You know, we started talking about having a conversation between our officers and our citizens, just a more of a one-to-one where it's more comfortable for the public to address us and you know, to kind of, I don't want to say demystify, but show our human side and our approachable nature, and to be there for the public. So in a number of our meetings, you know, I've had conversations with other people, and maybe sometimes that's not how I came across or how other people have come across. So what I want to do, or what I hope to do with your help, is to tear down those barriers and be that approachable presence, you know, for myself, for the officers, and to have those interactions. So I don't really have a whole lot of prepared comments, only thoughts on what we want to see happen, and you know, hope to get some good criticism. And I thank you for the invite tonight.
Okay, well, you can get started on some of the things that you'd like to see us address. And then if we have some questions, we can come in and ask you some questions. Maybe you can do more clarification. Okay.
Okay, address in terms of like things we're dealing with in the city, or in terms of what we want to talk about at our next town hall?
The town hall is what we're really interested in, how we're going to put it together, how you would like to see it go on, and how we would, you know, include the community.
Okay, sure.
That's the reason for the town hall, is to include the community people as well. So.
Okay, I understand. Do we know, and obviously the pandemic and all the rules have played such a huge part in this. I mean, when we talked about this last summer, we were hoping to have an in-person interaction, but I don't know where we'll be at when that date comes in June. I'm hoping that we could do that still, maybe in the library basement or some other venue where we could get some people in and have some actual person-to-person communication, as long as it's safe and okay to do so. Subject material, I'm sorry.
We're going to work on trying to have it in person, since most of the state will be open up to us. They said by June 1st, we could meet those that have been vaccinated and people that, as long as they're wearing masks and we're still distancing, but we have to find a venue. That's the issue right now, is a place that we can have it, that we can open it up to the community and people can come.
Okay, fantastic. I've had a couple of meetings with groups in the library square right behind our building here. If outdoors is what we're thinking, or maybe indoors, we've had good conversations in the library basement. That's a large venue, but I can definitely work on ideas for that. I didn't really want to set the tone as far as subject matter. I kind of wanted the public to drive that conversation. I want to get to the questions on their minds instead of me dictating what it is that we talk about. One of the reoccurring themes that we've spoken about here has to do with our student population, the large population that comes into town for college each semester, and where those students come from and what the interactions are like in their hometowns, and they may not be the same here in Adrian, and what we can do to put those fears to rest and to start the communication early as they move back for school, and hopefully have a good positive experience here. Beyond that, like I said, I just hope that the public feels comfortable asking what is really on their minds. I know there's a lot of questions that are stressful or delicate in nature, and those are the conversations that we want to have, but only when people are comfortable to do that. So maybe we come up with a few topics to get the ball rolling, and then as the conversation develops, we just let it take its course.
That sounds good. What kind of topics would you suggest that we utilize for this? I know some of us have been talking about having this bridging the divide again, and making sure that we have that personal interaction with the city of Adrian instead of at large other police enforcement. But we wanted to give you the opportunity to, and the officers that work in our community, to interact with the people that are in Adrian and surrounding community, because all of us are affected by it. So what kind of topics would you be open to us discussing? And I know when we start talking, questions are going to come up. They're going to be, and I think that in-person interaction tells you a little bit more about the person that's asking the questions too. So I hope we can do that. But if we do, we might have to limit depending on the space we have. And you can maybe tell us how many people that you have on the outside when you did it outside in the square, the library square.
It's been a dozen or less. It's been pretty limited, but we're talking right in the middle of the pandemic, so we were spaced well apart and kept the group small for that purpose.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of space back there, and I'm sure we could come up with some temporary seating. I know the library has chairs available if that's something that we want to look at. As far as subjects, there's two very pressing subjects facing us right now. One is all the violence. We have a lot of violent activity going on. Definitely would like to have the opportunity to brief those events with citizens, share as much information as I can and where we're at in those investigations. That is a nationwide trend. I think that's something that would be a good conversation starter, and it shows that we're here to talk about the serious subjects. We're not just here for show. We want to cover those topics. The other one, which I don't know that the public is fully aware of is all of the changes that have happened in legislation and how they affect what we can do as officers. The best example, and Ashley and I have had this conversation. We're talking about the court process that's taking place for the individual who drove his truck into that crowd of protesters, and how that's playing out and how the pandemic has affected that whole process. So some of the changes that we made to react to the pandemic have been made into permanent situations by the legislature. So that there was a lot of changes that took place April 1st that I don't think most people are aware of. So I would like to cover some of that. Those are the two that I had in my head, and I think you're right. I think the questions will come afterwards, but I was hoping maybe to set the tone for a serious conversation.
So can you
Chief-
tell us some of the things that your officers are facing out in the community right now, aside from the violence? Because you did give us that, and the legislation changes. How are they interacting with people?
Talk about how the officers are interacting with people.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think what we would even like to talk about is maybe the I wouldn't say interaction as much as the level of participation. With all of the changes, with arrests and sentencing and everything that's happening, people are consciously deciding not to be involved in the criminal justice process. You know, they're telling us that it's not worth it for them to cooperate. And what we do with that. So I don't think that's necessarily I had written a memo to the administrator. I don't think that's necessarily a result of poor relations. I think that's if anything, they're being more open and telling us, you know, hey, I'm not going to explain this to you because you know, not much is going to happen, and here's what's going to happen to me as a result. So people are
Right.
out there and they're processing this and explaining it to us. And we're left with, okay, you know, and that's the case in many of these violent events, is we have people who are there and they know what happened, they know what the feud is about or who shot at who, and they're unwilling to participate. So it is an obstacle. But that falls into that realm. You know, we still have people who submit tips and they want to be anonymous and they trust us to keep them anonymous. But that doesn't help us. You know, I can't use that testimony, or that's not a fact I can use to get a search warrant for a residence. It's good to know, but it doesn't help me to prove. So maybe that's a good conversation as well to have.
Mhm. Yeah, Chief Emmerich, I was gonna say, if there's one thing that I get notified on a lot, it's just concern over the violence for sure. So I do think that is something that will come up for sure at that town hall, because I know there is a lot of concern. And another thing I know that has come up several times on many discussions, including you know, other groups outside of, you know, any city commissions, is just, you know, maybe to touch on the fact that, you know, I know people will say, well, why don't we have a larger police force, or why don't we have more patrolling out there? And you know, there's a lot of comments like that from the public. And I know, you know, from talking with you and what you've even told, like, you know, the city commission in public and things like that, is just that you are having a hard time getting officers. You know, I know we've discussed this, but maybe that is something, you know, I've tried to share that when people have brought that up to me, but that might be a great thing to bring up as well at the town hall. You know, it's just that it's not that we're not willing to pay for more officers and we're not willing to get, you know, more patrol out there. It's literally a lack of people wanting to even go into the police force, and, you know, and wanting to pursue that as a career. Maybe touching on that as well, because I think the public is a little unaware of that as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mayor. You know, we had to fill 2 positions with a total of 4 applicants here last couple weeks ago. So there's a definite lack of people wanting to go into this as a profession. So I think it's an unintended consequence of everything that's going on. You know, we're working on positive changes. We're working on reform. And for, maybe senior members of a police force, that's a scary thing, change or doing away with qualified immunity, removing some of those protections. So you have officers who are retiring, and at the same time you have young people who are just choosing different professions. There's no one who's actively seeking this out. So I think it's going to be a real problem as time goes on. As we start to have a shallower applicant pool, are we really drawing in the best candidates at that point? Only time will tell.
That is good to address. So how many people do we have policing our streets right now? How many applicants you really need to keep a positive reinforcement in the community so that you can have that support from the community people. But I do know that people don't want to talk now. I know they don't want to share because they don't want to be involved in that way. They don't want to take sides, or they don't want to be pressured, because they know information. So I know your hands are tied with a lot of things, but the officers are out there on the ground. And so what are they seeing? What are they dealing with on a daily basis is what I'd like to have them speak about, how we could help them, and especially this commission. How can we help other than just talking and bringing people together? How can we get out there and make it a little easier, for our officers to be able to get some information?
Yep, and I mean, how many officers do you think? I was initially, when we started talking about, we were thinking maybe 2, 3. I mean, how many people would you like to see there? And also, I hesitate. I want to give them an overview about what this is about, but I also, I want them to be candid. That's what this is. I want them to be open and real with the public, and that's what I'm hoping they will do. So, there's nervousness with public speaking and a lot of apprehension, but I think that as we start talking about it, those walls come down, and then everybody can communicate like people, and that's what I'm hoping to generate. I would like a good mix of new officers and experienced officers. I think they would have different viewpoints, and also as far as shift work, you see a lot of different things in the middle of the night than you see in the middle of the day. So I would want to have a good mix of staff in that regard. But I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to have a dozen or so people on. You know what I mean? I want us to be there and available and present, but not overdo it.
It
So
would
how many-
also be a nice idea. I know you have several women, officers, maybe even to have one of them on there as well, just to also have that perspective as well.
Absolutely.
Mayor, when they built this building, they only gave us 5 lockers in the women's locker room. So we are 2 over at this point. I've got to add some in there if that gives you any idea, where we were at the time and where we're going. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I spoke with a graduate from, she graduated from Olivet, I think, this past weekend. She wants to be a police officer. She's from this community, but she's not sure if she want to work this community or not. Trying to encourage her to.
Let me get a business card for her.
I have one of your cards. I could give it to her.
Okay, all right, I will do it.
She's from here, and she's really interested in law enforcement. She didn't want to go into criminal justice without going into the prison system. She wanted to be out with the people. So that's a good thing. That's a
Yeah,
positive.
that's fantastic. And local is also fantastic. We've been working really hard to recruit local people who will stay with us for the duration of their careers. We've had a shift back to sponsorships, which we've had a lot of luck with in terms of getting people who are here because they want to be here and stay here, but also people that wouldn't have had the opportunity to get that certification without a sponsorship, myself included. I couldn't pay my bills and pay my tuition and go to school full time and not work and get through.
Right.
So it's easy to see the struggle, you know, when the students are trying to get through and get certified and get the job and they just can't make it happen. I understand completely. And it's great to offer that opportunity. And then you before you've even begun, you have this relationship with the person, and they're thankful for the opportunity, and they're grateful to be in the city, and we want to keep going with that. And if
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to get too heavy into recruiting, depending on the type of crowd we have. I guess if it's I'll take my cues from the questions, I suppose, as far how deep we go into that, I guess.
I think one of the things that if you would talk about what it would take to become an officer in Adrian, you know, what are the requirements that you are looking for? Are you looking for experience? And that's some of the problem that you would have with kids coming out of college, young people, is having that experience. Or would you prefer to train them yourself within your department after they have gone to the state police academy?
Right. There's pros and cons of each. You know, our last few hires have been very young people, and they come out, and it's a benefit in that they, you know, haven't memorized the policy of some other agency and come in and confuse that with what we have here. Also, conversely, we've hired some people with some life experience, and their maturity helps them in the process and helps in their communication in public. So we've had a good mix, and we've had good benefit from each age group. So I don't think you can go wrong as long as the person is committed. I think they will do just fine.
The other competition is the pay scale. You know, each community has their own pay scale, and they can attract more of the people that's coming out of college probably than we can, or other states can. So that's one thing I would like to know, have the students know, people to know, what do you offer that would make it more appealing for me to be here than to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. You know, the commission made a great adjustment to our scale. I want to say 2 years ago now, and it's really helped us be competitive. But I will say our last 3 hires, we have hired 2 people from Gus Harrison Prison and 1 person from the County Sheriff's Department. So what we have here is we have a great mix of working relationships and a good environment where people can prosper. And you know, if they want to aspire to a certain rank or a certain say they want to be a trainer in a subject, you know, we can offer those things. So you know, yeah, wages are difficult in the field in general. We are competitive within the county, but there's also several things we can offer in terms of working environment training and just overall wellness, I would say.
That's good. So what other area would you think would be something that we could highlight during the town hall meeting? Or that we should highlight in the town hall meeting? Because violence is going to come out. But we don't want to spend all of the time on that, only that subject, you know, because we could spend the whole time on what's going on in the community, what's going on in the state, what's going on in our country, you know. But we want to be able to make it a little bit broader, but we want it to be fixed around what you think is best for us to discuss.
Okay. You know, one other thing that comes up for me is transparency. I mean, I think we have a lot of tools in place, but I don't know that they're really utilized. I don't know how to get that information out. You know, like crimemapping.com, even our local reporters don't check that. You know, it's always easier to just call when they could get basic information from there. We finally flipped the switch on our public documents on our website. You can see anything that we have policy related. Our annual reports are on there, including information on our internal complaints. things that people ask in public, that stuff's available. Our use of force statistics broken down by age, race, gender, all of that is on there and available, but I don't think that it's accessed. I don't have a counter on there. I don't know how many times people open it, but my assumption is that it's not very many. That and I would like to ask what else the public would like to see in that regard. Is there something that I'm missing? Is there something I could do to make that more available, more am I missing the mark on what it is that they want to know?
I think you're facing basically what you had to face last year because it's going to reintroduce itself in our community because it didn't never go away. Some of the questions that I hear from young people, is that they don't want to be involved, but how do we get them to embrace the police department? They like you. They may like a couple of your officers, but then when they're interacting with different ones, it's different. It's a challenge, I should say. And so we want to figure out how can we help you bridge that gap? How can we do something to help you to make it a better community of transparency? Because transparency is one of the key things.
Yeah, and I will tell you that it's a struggle for me personally because not so much anymore because I'm not investigating crimes, but when I was talking to a victim and I am, I'm urging them to prosecute someone, I know in the back of my mind this person is going to go to court between 5 and 10 times and it's going to be reset every time. And they're going to miss umpteen days of work to try to push for something that in the end is going to be a plea agreement. And, they're not made whole and no one feels better. And it's difficult. And I think that the officers that speak with us at the town hall will probably tell you the same thing. We're pushing something that it's very difficult to believe in at times. I have a close friend whose daughter was the victim of a crime, 9 court dates she had before she just gave up. She said, I'm going to lose my job. I can't do this anymore. Just take what you can get. And the person got a misdemeanor and that was it. I mean, who wins in that situation? It's impossible. So I understand the struggle for the public and it's for us too. We're not satisfied by what we're seeing either, but at this point, how do we move forward? What can we all do essentially to change what's happening?
So how can we support in that regard, for something like a victim that has those challenges, those kind of challenges, I should say?
Yeah, I think I think at this point, the best thing to tell people is just to be involved and stay aware of what's happening. We get these regular legal bulletins of all these changes happening. And I guarantee most people don't know about that stuff. We will make arrests, and I'll use my quotation fingers here because it's an arrest only on paper. So we may get a call from a victim. We may deal with this person, make the arrest, give them a court date, and then they walk away. And what does the victim see? The victim sees us talking to the person and then them walking away. And then they're upset with us. Well, why didn't you arrest that person? Well, we did. We just can't take them to jail for offenses X, Y, and Z anymore. That's what arrest looks like now. I think a lot of people don't know that. And then we are the ones that are left with that image.
So Mayor, do you have any other comments you would like to make?
No, I was just going to say, I think that is right there is key because I think that is what people don't understand. Just the comments I see on social media, just comments that come towards me, anything, what it might, like saying they're concerned about violence. These people are so out walking on the streets, whatever it might be. I think so many do not understand what you just described, Chief Emmerich, at all. And I think that is the best way to communicate with the public is to make sure and get that word out. So they do understand that it has changed and it just looks very different right now. And and I know for a long time there, you couldn't take people to jail, and I know it's changed a little, but not a lot. And I just think that awareness and that communication is crucial, because that's what they think. Oh, nothing's being done, so why bother? I've heard comments like that. So I just think that is really crucial to, make sure and express what is happening truly.
Okay. Well, Chief, yes.
I just,
Arvette, Commissioner?
yes. I just would like to also know a bit about the training that you all receive. Who does the training, and is it also in relationship to psychological training, emotional training for y'all? Especially that's so much in the forefront now. And I know as a commission, we've talked about mental health, the issue here in the city. So are the law enforcement people trained in how to work with people that are so very difficult, and not because of their own fault necessarily, but mental illness? And what about like the physical training, especially since, George Floyd, that's on everybody's mind? Like, what are the things that have changed perhaps that you are not encouraged to do? And if you could just speak to that.
Sure. So, I mean, we were pretty well situated in terms of changes that other departments have made. We did change some language on policies. We had a series of meetings over the summer. Ashley was part of. We met with Black Lives Matter of Lenawee, and we went over a number of policies. We made some language changes. In terms of training, I mean, our training is extensive. There's a number of subjects that we have to recertify in every year, and then we offer additional training on top of that. So I would need to do a little preparation so I could give you a very good list. I can tell you that we do a number of trainings in terms of mental health and recognizing issues in individuals. We've got a great partnership with CMH in terms of if we run into someone, we need to make a call, or we need a caseworker or someone to do an evaluation. We have that ability. Having said that, I mean, we do a lot of classroom stuff, but I still think the best teacher is experience. We have a number of Renaissance homes in town, and if you've been here for any amount of time, you get to know the people and what the situations are there. So we have a number of people downtown that we see repeatedly, and it's good in that they know us, they know that we're there to help, and it de-escalates as soon as we arrive, because they know us by name just like we know them by name. So we do have that. Did you ask about like officer wellness, mental health, and
No, it's more of the people, and if you're trained in that. And yes, I mean, your own, mental health. How do you all deal with that in your, with your families? And
yeah, the city has a program that's anonymous that the officers can go and speak with someone at no cost if they need to. For our line of work, fitness is also very important. So we have a regular fitness program, and we help each other try to improve on our goals. Every 6 months, we have a new testing. It's voluntary participation, but we offer a vacation day as incentive so that people will participate and really try to improve on where they scored, that time. We also offer, we have a fitness room here at the PD, and if you want to work out before or during your lunch or something like that, you have that ability as well. So we try to come at that from a number of different angles with a fixed amount of resources, of course, but I think we do pretty well where that's concerned.
okay, thank you.
All right, we appreciate that time. We still have a little bit of time. Is there some ideas that anyone else has that they would like to share, so that he and we can put some things together for that 24th meeting, the open town hall meeting?
I know, Ashley, your sound's not working, but if you ever want to chat or put it in chat or something so we can see, or somehow let us know. I feel bad because I know you're not able to talk tonight.
Well, we could let her express some of those things to the chief because they get to talk quite a bit. So it would be helpful if we all had an opportunity to meet with you one-on-one. But we have assigned that to Ashley, Commissioner Ashley Frank. So she will be coming and talking to you to give you some more ideas about that. So
Okay, perfect.
I went green.
Thank you.
Is it working?
Oh, we can hear you.
Yes.
oh, we got her back.
I don't have
Okay.
anything to add though. All good.
Okay.
Thank you though so much, Chief Emmerich, for like being willing to, do this, and for your officers. I know like you're used to doing a lot of public speaking and interacting more, and it might be a little more uncomfortable for some of them to be put in that position, but we really appreciate, I just feel it just breaks down so many barriers when we can have that open communication and that dialogue, and everybody gets a better understanding of where everyone's coming from. It just really helps. So I do really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. It'll be good for them. That's what we're here for.
We appreciate it. We really do. And we also want you to know that the questioning to officers is let them know that if it's a question that they can answer later, they don't have to feel like they're on the spot, that they have to answer that night. But we could look it up and get back to us so that they don't feel that, their answers have to be spoken at that time. We would like them to feel comfortable enough, but in case they're not, because this would be new for some of them. But we do want to know how the interaction goes with having a female officer there, an officer of color there, someone from mental health that comes out. How does that change? How does that work? Is that helpful? Or is it something else that we could do as a community to bring the police and the community together? Right now, we don't have anyone walking a beat. We don't have anyone stationed in a one area, do we? Anyone?
No, we have to do, there was a time we did like east-west and overlap, but that with the nature of calls now, it's generally a two-person situation. So we wind up, everyone goes everywhere.
Yes, and also you need to connect how when you go out on an accident report, you still have to have the fire department to go with you, right?
Yeah, if it's an injury accident, yes, we do. Same thing, they may summon us to a medical call, something like that. So we do have interoperability there.
Okay, so I would like you all to talk about how that happens, because not everybody understands when they see the fire department there with the accident. I know a couple of my grandchildren were experienced it, and the lady that had the accident, one of my grandchildren actually was learning Spanish, and he was able to speak to the lady that was driving that had the accident, because she could not understand what the officer was saying to her. So he was able to speak to her to get her to calm down, that they could get her out of the car. So I think sometimes it's just right place at the right time, but it's also good to know how the police interact with an accident victim that does not speak English, or a person that is from out of town, because this is a transit community and we have a lot of people that travel through here that are going from Ohio to other parts of Michigan, and Indiana. So I just know that your job is much greater, because you have the people that are coming from internationally, when you talked about the students and what that all entails, students getting to know this community and how do they operate here. We'd like to know a little bit more about that, how the students are doing, what we can do to maybe embrace that to help you, or even help the students, because you know, my husband and I used to do this all the time. The colleges would call us. They don't do that anymore. They usually call the police instead of calling someone that, you know, can maybe calm them down and, you know, make a difference. And or get information from them enough that you can call their parents or call someone that they know, you know, to help them. I know my son dealt with someone over the weekend that wanted to kill himself. And, you know, it took hours and hours. In fact, it was the next day before they were even able to help him. And it ended up with the police having to come and work with him somewhat. And they did a good job from what I'm hearing. Your officers did. So I just want to say, I know you have a lot to deal with when you have people coming from out of state and people that are coming from out of town that don't know who they can turn to. So I just want to say we appreciate so much this opportunity to do this town hall. And if we cannot get together, because some of our members are not allowed out of their areas right now, we will do it on Zoom again. Okay. So if you want to prepare it for both ways, I would appreciate that. And if you have any complications or problems, the mayor and I, and also Commissioner Frank, will work with you to get it together. Okay. So if you have any other questions for us that we can address.
No, none comes to mind right now, but I won't be bashful if I have any.
I appreciate it. I really do. And I want to thank you so much for what you're doing and how approachable you are. You really are. And that matters in these times. I can call you and tell you what I think. I haven't done it yet, but I know I can, you know, and I know you will be honest. And, you know, with officers coming from the police, Department of Corrections over to the police department, they've had most of the training that you all have. Maybe a while that they've had it, but it's good to know that we are utilizing the people from corrections as well. Okay. All right. Anyone else have anything else to say to our chief before we go to the next topic? All right. Thank you, Chief. If you want to stay on, you can.
All right, I gotta get home and get something to eat, but thank you very much for the opportunity. And you know, reach out anytime if there's anything I can do to help. Any questions that you may have, please just drop me a line. Thank you.
Okay, we definitely will. And thank you for giving us that time. We appreciate it so much.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, members, we just have a little bit more to do. And that is we have to talk about the pre-meeting for next month is going to be on our 22nd, which is 2 days before our town hall meeting. And this meeting we said we wanted to set aside for the homeless shelter, the lady that deals with the shelters for homelessness. Ashley, can you?
The housing help, and she's actually on this right now. She's on the
Oh,
call right
is
now.
she?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Well, maybe we should, well, during public comment, maybe she will say something to us about that. But what we want to do is have her be a part of that, our pre-meeting on next month. And so we will vote on that in our regular meeting, but we wanted to keep it at the pre-meeting, right, for this time. Is that right, everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm going to do is, if she would be able to speak to us and give us a short excerpt of what she wants us to do or what we would like to be talking about at our next pre-meeting, which would be the 22nd of June at 6 o'clock. If there be nothing else, then we will have her and we will vote on that in the next meeting, okay? So on the 22nd, that's what we will be doing. Okay, in the pre-meeting. All right. At this time,
And
I'm
since
open.
you're talking about something that pertains to her, she can speak right now. You don't have to wait till public comment since we're talking
Well,
about.
We're right at
Since
comments.
we are
We're right at
discussing
public
her.
comment.
So.
Yeah, we're right at public comments, so we can let her speak then, if that's okay. All right.
Hello.
Hello. Give us your
Hi.
name and
I'm Elizabeth Salerno. I'm the Executive Director of Housing Help of Lenawee.
thank you for being with us tonight.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your agency and tell us some of the things that we could be talking about to put together. We were trying to put together another town hall, but we wanted to have you come and talk to us and give us some insight into some of the things that we could be dealing with before we put the town hall together, which will be in the fall.
Sure. So I mean, from Housing Help's perspective, the way Lenawee County is set up, we are kind of that central starting point for anybody in housing crisis. So primarily a lot of, not necessarily all of the obviously emergency shelters, but outside of that, other housing services filter through our agency. So we have emergency shelters, we have transitional housing, we have a veterans program, permanent supportive housing. So all of that filters through Housing Help. And then we also obviously work very closely with the shelters in our community and other agencies to try to help connect people to all of the mainstream benefits and that they can hopefully be able to get housed and get connected to resources they could be stable. I mean, as far as a big part of our housing issue that we have within Lenawee County itself is there's just not enough housing available for all of our families and individuals who need housing. So that's honestly our biggest struggles. Like we can have, especially right now, we've, with everything that's been going on with COVID, we've actually been getting even more money to be able to help those in our community that need housing. So that's our biggest struggle, is trying to find housing for people.
Okay. So are you, do you have a list of people that need assistance, or how are you doing that?
Well, so we don't, not everything with how our community is, with how small, we don't necessarily have these long wait lists for things like a lot of the bigger cities do. So as things are, we do have a coordinated entry process where, for instance, if we were down to the last of our funds and multiple households became, everything came together for them at the same time, we have a prioritization list that we can help determine, for instance, who would be those who would get it first, type of thing. So there's prioritization, which is part of the coordinated entry system for Lenawee County that the entire COC voted on, for instance, the continuum of care, so that we follow. It's very rare that we have to go to that prioritization list for that, though, for our funding purposes, but we do have that in place if we need it. For instance, the legacy program for permanent supportive housing, that has a wait list that we have to maintain through MISHDA. So that has a wait list where, if right now we don't have anybody on that wait list, we're trying to put people on it for openings that are coming up. But it's not common that we normally have this type of openings in there, because the whole point is it's permanent. So the hope is people don't move on, that they'll be safe and stable there.
Okay, so what we want to do is to have you come and do a presentation for us at our next meeting, like we did with the chief. We have an hour time, and we can give you as much of the time that you need to talk to us. If you'd like to bring staff with you to help do the presentation, we would appreciate that so much. So that would be on the 22nd of June, which is a Tuesday at 6 p.m. Is that convenient for you?
Yeah, no, I should be able to make that work.
Okay, good. So is there anything that you need from us to accommodate you?
Sure. So just how, like, do you want like the focus primarily on kind of services that we provide and kind of how things work for that purpose, just or like kind of a general scope of that, or?
So whatever you have that could help us to pass off information to the people that have these needs. You know, because most people don't know about your agency or what your agency can do. So if you just want to give us an overview of that, and we may have even more questions, and we can let people know when we do the town hall that, you know, these are the services that are available, and this is the person that you need to talk to. So that's what we're looking to be a bridge to help you help our community, and the resources that you have and the monies that you have coming available, that we make it available to the people that are in most need.
Okay, yep, nope, that's not a problem.
Okay. All right, so we will look forward to hearing from you. Did anyone else have a question for her tonight?
I would just say, I know Elizabeth, when we met before, just, we've had presentations now on mental health, and I know you and I had talked about that, and and we've also had some discussions just on those, that are needing maybe substance abuse services or whatever it might be, and just maybe how you communicate with other agencies, other groups, possibly when you're, working with them on housing, is there that communication line, and what is happening if you see that they do need services of any kind? Maybe it's just healthcare, whatever it might be. But maybe if you could touch on that as well.
Sure.
During that time. Thanks.
That would be great. That would be great. Does anyone else have any comments? This public comment time? Well, hearing no comment, other public comments, do we have any commissioner comments? So you all gonna make me do all the talking tonight, huh? I guess I could do it though, huh? All right. Any announcements that we may have that we need to talk about before our next meeting? Okay. Well, I will open to take a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Who
I
is
second
that?
the motion.
Say it again. Who did the motion? Mayor?
Mayor did the motion. Yes.
Okay. And the second one too?
Commissioner Harbat.
Thank you. Okay, we can take a few minute break. Let's take well, you got 3 minutes. Okay. All right. See you in 3 minutes. We're ready to get started.
Is my mic working now? No? Yes? Yay!
Okay, I'd like to call our regular meeting for the Human Relations Commission open at this time at 7:01. I'd like us to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, everyone is so glad to have you back with us for our May 25th meeting. At this time, we'd like to have the roll call.
Mayor Heath,
Present?
Commissioner Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Ramos,
Present.
Commissioner Patton is present, Commissioner Frank,
Present.
Commissioner Boone,
Is excused.
Commissioner Barron, Commissioner Carter, and Commissioner Harvitt.
Present.
All right, thank you so much. Our minutes, you received them, and so we'd like to have them approved for the pre-meeting first for April the 27th, 2021. I'd like a motion for that and the roll call, please.
Commissioner Ramos, I motion to approve the pre-meeting minutes from April 27th.
Commissioner Harvitt, I second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvitt.
Yes.
Passes with unanimous vote.
All right, I'd like to have approval for the regular meeting minutes of April 27th, 2021. I'd like a motion, please, and a roll call.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Commissioner
Or-
Ramos, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for April 27th. Roll call, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Commissioner Frank, Commissioner Frank,
I
it
think
working?
she's trying to tell us yes.
Yes.
okay. And Commissioner Harvitt
Yes.
and Commissioner Harvitt.
Yes.
Passes with the unanimous vote.
Thank you. Are there any additions to the regular agenda? Anybody have any regular agenda items? If not, I need a motion to receive the agenda for May 21st, 2021.
I motion to approve the agenda for May 25th, 2021.
Commissioner Ramos, I second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Um, Commissioner Heath, or excuse me,
Yes.
Mayor Heath.
You're fine.
I'm
You're
sorry.
fine. Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Commissioner Frank
Yes.
and Commissioner Harvett.
Yes.
All right. We left off one of the items, and that's a question that we can't have an answer, is our treasurer report. We were supposed to meet with the city to find out exactly what our budget is. And I don't know if the mayor has someone else that we need to meet with, or did you have anyone? Did they accept our budget?
They went with the original amount, which is higher than we've ever been given though in the past. Just
I lowered it.
yeah,
Remember
but they still went with what they originally had due to because of training, and like we hadn't even used any of it in the past, and this is actually a higher budget than we've ever been given. So we, and one of the things they said is that we can always get donations and get, we in the future as we look, that's actually what other groups have done. They've said, oh, well, we're going to our budget, we want our budget to be this high, but as part of that budget to be this amount, that it's expected that we will bring in contributions. Sorry, I sneezed. It's making my throat raw. They will bring in contributions in this X amount to make that. Does that make sense?
it does, because we dealt with the pandemic, but at the same time, we can't move forward doing other things anyway right now. So we're not trying to do. So what did they give us actually?
You're going to ask me that and I don't remember now. I don't have the budget right in front of me. I do believe it was 1,500. But don't quote me on that. I'm going off memory right now telling you that.
Okay.
And I have it in front of me. And
okay.
And part of that is as well is just that I know a lot of that we were trying to do like training and things like that, and they do have a budget for planning commission. They have to go through training when they get like a new commissioner, but that's not even as high of a budget as, like any planning commission training. They don't even give them as much as that for that. The reason planning commission budget is higher, I will tell you, I found out the answer to that question though, is because of all of like those application fees and all of that they have to go through when it comes to there's different, like there's a lot of paperwork involved that gets charged, I guess, to the planning commission when it comes to like zoning and site maps, things like this, that they actually do. They do actually have quite a few charges like that, but that's because of because of the nature of what that commission is. But honestly, when it comes to just a pure commission budget, we actually have the higher one when it comes to the other commissions. Outside of those fees for the, for processing all that paperwork and everything, we actually still have a higher budget now than everyone else. So, I'm hoping that in the future we can keep increasing that, but I think if we can show the city this year that, maybe we do get some more money now brought in like we did before when they first started. I know I do believe it was Mayor Chuck Jacobson that did that at the time, but it might have been before him.
Yeah, one
even.
of the banks donated
Right.
3,000.
And I think, if we can show that, hey, we're going to bring in a certain amount of money as well to help, especially with our community events, like that's what they would really like to see, is that we're bringing in, some help and things when it comes. They do think that, for my conversation that I was having, is the training is important. And that's why they're giving us a higher amount than we've ever been given before. And they do believe that is important. But when it comes to like community events and things, that, that would be something that'd be nice to see if we can actually get the community invested into it by, like getting some groups to give money to, or a bank or whatever it might be.
The problem that I have with that conversation that you had with them is that we are not an agency. We are the Human Relations Commission under the city of Adrian. So we should not have to solicit money, but I don't have a problem doing that. But we'll see how our budget goes. Like you said, we can see what we're going to do this year, which half the year is almost gone now anyway. So we definitely will work towards showing the city, whoever it is that's making the decisions as a whole, the commission, that in order for us to do some of the things that we would like to get done, we do have to have some monies. So we will work with what we have now, and then I'll talk to you later about the other part of the treasurer's report. Okay.
Okay. And I do think, I will say as well that I do think that we are doing big things now. I really believe that. We did the bridging the divide, we've done, the mental health. We did, the talk with, like Breakthrough Urban Ministries today. We're going to do another topic, with the police force of, the APD. And I think that right there just shows that, we are going to use that money up, and it's going to show that we need that money, and that, we really are doing things now. And I do think what hurt when it came down to it is just, and it was a pandemic, but we just didn't use any money the year before, like literally nothing was spent. So I think it was I was trying to, kind of fight that battle for us. And, they're like, well, you didn't spend any. And I'm like, well, it was a pandemic year, but, it also, we did, like, well, what were you even doing before that? And now we're really doing a lot of community engagement and in a lot of different areas, and it's multifaceted now. And I really think that is going to play in the coming, years, and especially next year's budget as well, just to show that there is that need in what we are doing in that community.
Well, I just want you to know, I'm not opposed to the 1,500 or whatever budget that they did give us. I'm not opposed to that at all. I'm just the rationale for the breakdown is what I'm talking about. We are the City of Adrian Commission. So our commission should have a budget from the city, not go out and solicit money. That's what I'm saying. So not that I can't do it, because I can definitely solicit funds. Only thing is, we should be able to have a budget that's consistent with what you and the commission would like us to accomplish. And this assignment that we were given last September, we have taken it on, and I think that we have accomplished quite a bit. And I thank this commission and the commissioners, and especially you, Mayor, for allowing us to do this, because it really has made a difference. People are actually listening, and they are learning how to do things in a better way. We do appreciate it so much. All right, so we're going to go to our next business portion, our old business planning, the town hall meeting for the 24th. The chief of police has given us an outline as to how he would like to see it happen. Is there anything else that you all would like to see other than what we discussed with him? He didn't ask for questions ahead of time, but yes.
I would like a clarification on the time.
The time is 6 p.m. to 7:30. on the 24th. So it's 6 o'clock. We had set aside 2 hours last time and we didn't really need 2 hours because we just allowed them to present and then we ask questions and we let the community ask questions. So I think an hour and a half is good enough time, unless you all think differently. Anyone else had any concern about that? Okay, so Commissioner Frank is going to be, I would say she can be the host, the MC for that program. Would you mind doing that, Commissioner Frank?
Yeah, as long as my audio is working.
Okay, if your audio is not working, we're gonna tell you to get a backup plan.
Well, you might be in person, remember? We probably
Yeah.
will be, so that you won't have to worry about it.
We're working toward that goal as well. So, all right. And so, so if she's going to MC, that means you will introduce. So you need him to send you a resume or information at least to speak about the chief, and then the officers and their rank. You know, their names, their rank, and how long they've been on the police force, because that was something that you all did talk about, is how long have they been on and the diversity that's there. And he did talk about the different shifts that they work. So getting to know that in the beginning is really good. Okay. And if you could think of something else, let me know. And definitely when you get ready to introduce, would you forward that to me as well?
Yep.
The information to me and the mayor. I'll make sure you get it, Mayor, too. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that we would like to do? If it's in person, would you all like us to have something to drink and maybe some chips or some crackers or something like that? I don't think we should make food available, just a snack. And I can take care of that as long as we, you know, if we're doing it in person. So it would just be a bag of chips or crackers or something like that, cookies, and something to drink, water, and maybe a lemonade or something, because we can get that already bottled up. And so if you all approve that, then I will go ahead with that.
Something packaged like that, I do approve of. I would have concern if it was like out in the open, but yeah, something packaged like that, I'm in favor of.
Pre-bag and bottles. That's what we do now. You know,
Yep.
just make sure that nobody is putting their hands on anybody else's stuff. You know, not doing that. So did I hear another question about it? Comment? Okay. So do we agree that that would be okay? Do I need to do a vote on that?
I think we
I
can
think
talk about when we get a little closer to it about like, I don't know, like vaccination rates and stuff like that, whether we want people to make sure that they're keeping their masks on while we're in a group. Because if we provide food, then people are
If
more
they're
likely.
not, we're gonna be spaced to, we're gonna still be spaced so that if people don't have their vaccination, because I could tell you that I'm vaccinated and I don't have to be, you know, so, and people have some serious issues about masking right now. So what we can do is require that masks be on if that's where we are in an open meeting. If things aren't better in Lenawee County, because Lenawee County is still up there in terms of people needing to be vaccinated. So we can talk about that part, but I was talking about the refreshments, serving a refreshment, just a drink, and a chip and a stuff like that. So do you give me approval to purchase that? I will give the bill to the city later. Is that okay? Or do we need to vote on it? Okay, let's vote on it because I'm not hearing anything. So I'd like a motion to purchase items if we have an open meeting, one-on-one. Okay. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion, Commissioner Ramos, to have snacks and beverages that are closed if we do have it in person.
I second Commissioner Patton.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded. So let's have the roll call vote, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet.
She's not on anymore.
Yeah,
Okay,
we lost her like 5-10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, she might come back on. She might have had
Okay.
another meeting too. Okay. All right. Thank you. So the next thing we need to talk about is the update on the meeting that we're going to have with our speaker from earlier from the housing help, that she will be coming to our pre-meeting at 6 o'clock on June the 22nd.
I might have misunderstood, but I thought we had only voted on the snacks fit thing. I thought we had to actually vote to have the town hall meeting on that day.
No, we're not having the town hall meeting on the 24th, you mean, voting?
Yes, on the 24th. I thought we had only addressed the snacks, not officially that meeting. Did I misunderstand?
We voted last month. We picked the 24th over the 14th. The 24th, or we had two dates, and we picked the 24th last month. So that was already solidified. It was just a matter of what he was going to present and what questions we had for him to put it together for the 24th. So now we're back to the 22nd, which is our regular meeting day, and 6 o'clock, and having our speaker to be the housing help.
Her name's Elizabeth Salerno.
Elizabeth Palermo, to be with us.
Salerno.
Okay, Palermo. To have her be our speaker for the pre-meeting. And she will, so I need a motion for us to have her as our speaker on June 22nd.
Commissioner Ramos, I make motion.
Need a second,
I second, Mayor Heath.
Mayor. Okay, ready for the roll call?
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
is Commissioner Harvet back on?
Yes, she's back.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, the only other old business or business that we need to talk about is what do we want to do in July, August, and September. We talking about doing something, another town hall maybe. So what do you want to do for July and August?
I think a good, I don't know who to go to, but I think a good one to also discuss, because we have discussed it in our group, it would be someone coming in to discuss, you know, like substance abuse, help and what is available and, you know, what kind of services we do have in our area. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know myself. And if there is something I do get people in my mayor's office is, you know, my brother OD'd or this happened, and what are we doing to help our people? And, you know, where is there's, you know, there's no substance abuse inpatient help at the hospital anymore. And there's not this, you know, so there is concern definitely coming from the community when it comes to this. So that's just a thought, and it wouldn't have to be July. Maybe we need time to get ready for August to do that. Cause like I said, I don't even really know who to go to at this point either. But just a thought to do soon in the near future.
Well, there are a couple of groups that meet in the churches, and also they're meeting on their, it's off of Beecher, near the railroad tracks, is their space that they meet at. They're starting back to meet together. So it's a place that maybe we can make a contact with them and see what group is actually meeting, because they do substance abuse and alcohol and well, which that's a substance too, but alcohol and substance abuse, NA. So if that's what we want to target for August, pre-meeting, I'm just saying in a pre-meeting, because then we can talk about it and see exactly if that's something we want to do for the town hall. The other thing is, Joaquin, Commissioner, you're going to be looking into the banks to see whether or not they're wanting to do another housing event. And it sounds like we're going to get information from our housing help individuals. She's going to give us more information. So maybe we can put something together for the town hall in September for that group, okay? Because the next one we would have to do would be before winter, would be November, would be the latest that we could do another town hall until next year. And maybe February, because then we should be back to in person by that time, okay? So I'm saying that, is it possible we could be back into the chambers by then? And we can have the pre-meeting, have them come. Mayor?
Yes, it's actually going to be possibly back into chambers, but I know we may not want to do that just because I know Sister Pat cannot attend. And I'm not sure how comfortable everyone else is, but the sound is almost completed in the chambers, and we're hoping to be back in June, fingers crossed, for the city commission already, because now we're going to have capabilities to Zoom at all times from the city chambers and keep everybody socially distanced. You know, we might run into, if there's still capacity limits, you know, we could run into that, and then maybe people would have to Zoom or whatnot. But it is, you know, we have been working on city chambers to make it easier to hear and putting in technology and getting that ready. And we're hoping sometime here in June that city commission meetings are going to be regular back in the city chambers. So that is definitely a possibility, but I do want to be, you know, cognizant of, you know, that some of our commissioners either you know, have great fear and aren't really feeling comfortable with coming together. And I know like Sister Pat at this point can't come. She's not allowed to. So, you know, so I don't know when we want to look at that, but that is definitely something that we can begin whenever we feel ready. And the other way we could do it, and I can tell you, we've done this already in the pre-meeting room because that was ready and some of the commissioners met. We had a commissioner that wasn't in town. She had had to go out of town. And so we Zoomed her in to our meeting. So that's another possibility. If we want to start meeting in person, you know, that's something that if somebody's not comfortable, or it's somebody like Sister Pat, they can just Zoom into the meeting, still be a full part of the meeting. It's very easy. I mean, we've already done it in the city commission meetings. They're on a big screen. They're very easy to hear. The sound quality is amazing already in there. And so we could hear everything that was being said when they were talking. And it was like that commissioner was with us, even though they weren't. So, you know, that's another possibility that we can look at doing shortly.
Okay,
I just wouldn't suggest it for the June town hall meeting because A, I don't know if it'll be ready by then, but B, I don't want to limit the size, and that would be my fear because we are still going to have to be careful in there. And so I would prefer it maybe be outside or in a different location where we can have a larger group. Because I would hate to limit that if we did get a lot of people that wanted to come.
okay. Well, if we want to target more people, we would be able to do that for the 24th. But I think that space would be too big, too small for us because the group will be a lot larger. Just us and whoever we know. So we're going to look into a space possibly, but I do believe we could just do it on Zoom. You know, however you all feel about it is all right with me. Okay, so we will talk about that at the, well, we'll finalize that before we get to that week. We will just have to communicate with you all and make sure that we're doing the right thing, okay? And also talking to the mayor and the city health department as well, okay? All right. Well, if there be nothing else, we will slate our meeting for June the 22nd to be for housing help. And then we will go forward in June and figure out what we're going to do for July and August. Okay. We may not do anything in July. We'll just switch over to August. Okay. So, and September. All right. At this time, we're open to public comments. Do I hear someone? Okay. If not, we have commissioner comments.
I just wanted to, I was hoping everyone would be here today so I could just share with everyone. I've talked to a couple of people from the community just over the weekend, like getting back connected with the real world. And someone asked how I liked being on the commission because they know that I was always kind of like avoidant of organized bodies. But I told them everyone that was on it with me and how well we all work together and how we all listen to each other, and we all come from different backgrounds and different life experiences, but we all mesh really well. And when I told them, like, I listed everyone off, and they were like, wow, that's a really powerful group. So we're known individually in the community, but it makes people feel better that we're all working together in the same direction. And even though sometimes it seems like we're just talking to ourselves, it's being noticed. Like, people know that we're doing things now and making a difference. And that, I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Well, we just love hearing that. I appreciate you and everyone else in that thought. Mayor Heath?
And I would like to, publicly thank Commissioner Kavassis Frank. She's been volunteering. I don't know if anybody else has been, but I personally saw her, so that's why I know. She's been giving up her time and volunteering and helping at the vaccinations. And, that's a big time commitment. And, she is just willing to serve her community. And I see her doing this over and over again. So I just want to thank you for your service to our community and how much you do.
We really excited about that. I think she called me and said, I'm just leaving, I'll be there. I appreciate that. Not everybody is interested in helping. Some are not able to help. And we just want to say thank you to you for you stretching yourself and making sure that you put yourself in that arena. We do appreciate that. There's some people, their health just won't allow them to do it, but thank you for representing. Thank you so much. We also like to thank Sister Harvat, Commissioner. they're working really hard to work on diversity and inclusion individual for the nuns. So that's exciting to know
Yeah.
because she is working. You want to tell them a little bit about what you're doing?
Yes, well, we're going to establish an Office of Racial Equity and Cultural Inclusion here at the Mother House. And so we're in the search for a director of that office who would work with the sisters here on campus, but the entire congregation, as well as our co-workers here on the campus and our institutions, our sponsored institution, all of our partners in mission, like Barry University, Siena, Rosarian, Regina, those are the high schools we have. So, yeah, we're looking for somebody, and the purpose is to get us on board to realize our white privilege, number one. And number two, in awareness of that, then to be able to transform and make some differences in society. But that ongoing education and recognition of ourselves of participating in white privilege all these years. So that's what we're about. It's hard work. We do have Leonardo Pisania, who works with us from the University of Michigan. He does racism training, and he's done a couple things with the sisters, but we're looking for something a little bit more substantial to carry us through the years to come. So, and Andrea's on our search committee and interview committee. So we're really happy. She and Charisse from former Siena employee who's at Albion now. And they both are, wonderful women of color. We have two sisters. One sister is a sister of color also. So it's a nice, diverse interview community that we have doing it, but we're looking for somebody, and we're pretty, specific on what we're looking for.
Right.
It's, and that's what makes it difficult.
Mhm.
We've gotten about 18 applications, but either they don't have the education and they have a little experience, or they don't have any experience at all and very little education, so we kind of need a combo of that. And it's hard to find, and then it's hard to find anybody that want to really come into Adrian per se, from where they are. But we've sent this out all over, the NAACP, Black Sisters Congress, in New Orleans, Xavier University, the Black Studies Program, Black Congress, Catholic Congress in the USA. So, but it's hard trying to find anybody right now. So we'll see. Our last thing would be to get a search, finance group that does that, a company that does it. Now you have to pay a lot of money to do it, but there are search companies that are specifically geared to cultural diversity and racism. And, we might have to go that route to see if they can find somebody for us.
And that person will be working in our community. That's the
Oh,
good
yeah.
part.
Yeah, that would be another piece. See, that would be my role, is to kind of inform them what we've been doing as a group here, and, having them be introduced to us. That would be very important. I wouldn't want to lose, the connection with the city.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Any other commissioner comments or announcements?
For announcements, I'd just like to say that on our next city commission meeting, which is Monday, June 7th, we will be doing a proclamation for Pride Month. June is Pride Month, and so we are going to be doing a proclamation. There will be a flag that will be also in City Hall in the lobby, like entrance area. We have discovered that we cannot fly other flags on our flagpoles along with our government ones. So we started doing this back in the fall. And so it will be in the lobby flying there for when, people enter, because City Hall will be open again on June 1st, right on the same day. So that's perfect. And we will also be doing a proclamation for Juneteenth. And that, just to remind everybody, that is Saturday, June 19th. It's going to be from 1 to 8 p.m. at Trestle Park, the Juneteenth celebration. So they're very excited. They have a really great band coming down from Detroit, and there's just a lot of great things that are going to be happening that day. Hopefully we have great weather, but just wanted to let everybody know about those, two things coming up, and so that you can be aware and we can be celebrating together.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we'd like to remember our graduates. Adrian High School is graduating. I've had a person to graduate from college. My godchild in Texas graduating. My son graduating from college, and now I got 3 grandchildren graduating from high school. So going to college. So I'm very excited. So you all remember that, remember us as we go about our business in this community. Make sure you be aware of things, watchful and careful, and keep wearing your mask if you need to. Get a shot. Ashley don't mind you putting shots in people's arms too, Ashley? No,
No.
just
I just take the temperature.
oh, hey, that's important. That's very important. All right, I have a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn. Mayor Heath.
Commissioner Ramos, I second the motion.
All right, at 7:42, we are dismissing. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, you all stay safe now.
You too.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.